Heading overseas now, a United Nations official is warning that the Syrian city of Aleppo will become, quote, one giant graveyard if the warring parties maintain the siege on the city's east. Tens of thousands of people have tried to flee Aleppo in recent days, and hundreds of thousands more remain in danger, as Anne Barker reports.
The latest pictures from eastern Aleppo are harrowing to see. Bodies are scattered along a bombed street. Many lie in pools of blood, their bags of belongings still on their backs. This boy sobs as he recounts how he lost half his family in a single attack. We were leaving from Madi and Asila. We gathered at Madi and then we all left together. We were all there so we could move together. We went ahead of them and they stopped back there. My mother was carrying some things. Then we suddenly heard the strike. We ran here, we came to see them. I found my mother dead, my sister dead. The other one was alive, my sister. We know nothing about her. She's still in the hospital. At least 45 people were killed in the raids. Most were women and children. They'd been trying to flee a rebel-held area of Job al-Kuba in eastern Aleppo to safety and shelter in the government-held west. The boy's father says he had no option but to leave. We were escaping from hunger and from the strikes. The children were so scared. I was so hesitant. I would take one step forward and 10 back. But what else could we do? As many as 30,000 people have poured out of eastern Aleppo in recent days as Syrian forces intensify their military campaign to retake the entire city. Aid worker Jan Egeland from the Norwegian Refugee Council says hundreds of thousands more are still in danger.
It couldn't be worse. This is 250,000 people in free fall. It's something that will become a stain on our conscience as humanity.
The UN's humanitarian chief, Stephen O'Brien, has warned of the consequences if the war continues much longer.
We plead with the parties and those with influence to do everything in their power to protect civilians and enable access to the besieged part of eastern Aleppo before it becomes one giant graveyard.
At the UN in New York, 3 nations, New Zealand, Egypt and Spain, have renewed calls for a new ceasefire to allow in desperately needed aid, a motion other nations supported, including the US Ambassador Samantha Power.
This resolution should be brought to a vote without delay, and it should be adopted with the Council's unanimous support. This is a no-brainer. Anyone who tells you otherwise does not have the survival of Syrian civilians at heart.
But she blames Russia for standing in the way of peace.
It is a very straightforward and very unfortunate fact that the Security Council does not come together to answer the cries of the civilians that we have heard about again today because Russia, a permanent member, doesn't want to. That's it. It's very straightforward.
And as ever, Moscow refused to support a ceasefire. Russia's ambassador to the UN is Vitaly Churkin. We share the grave concerns of the plight of civilians in eastern Aleppo, he said, but easing their suffering won't happen by ceasing the counter-terrorist operation. It seems there's no chance the suffering in Aleppo will end soon.
Anne Barker with that report.